Today we're talking about simple interest. There's a formula that you can use to find simple interest. This right here needs to be written at the top of your page, right underneath the title, which is simple interest. Okay, so remember when you set up your notebook, you always put your name, the date, and this title. I should see this title in your notebook and this formula directly under it. Okay, so what is interest? It's an amount paid for the use of money. Okay, so if you were going to put, you would put amount paid for use of money. Okay, principal. What is principal? It's the amount you borrow or you deposit. All right, what is the annual interest rate? It's always a percent, and it's what you pay or what you earn, okay? And it's always written as a decimal. Okay, whenever we put it into the equation, yes, it starts it as a percent, but remember, we always change a percent to a decimal. And then time is always in years. So if they would give you months, okay, for example, 2 months, we would change it into years. Okay, if they said 2 months, we would say, okay, how much is a year? 12 months. So this would be 1/6 of the year, okay? All right, let's do a couple examples. Tim's parents lent him $100 so he can buy a radio-controlled airplane. They're going to charge him 5% simple annual interest rate to borrow the money. What would be the total amount that Tim will owe his parents in 1 year? Okay, so we know the principal is $100. We know the rate is 5%, which we have to change to a decimal, which is 0.05. And we know the time is in years, and it's 1 year. Okay, and this should tell us our interest. So go ahead, take out your calculator, and try this problem for me. So if you multiply any number by 1, it's going to be itself. So really, 100 times 5/100 is what we're doing, and we get $5. So the total amount that Tim will owe his parents in 1 year is going to be an additional $5. Okay? Let's try another problem. You borrow $50 at 4% simple interest to buy a new outfit. How much will you owe in 1 year? So you're borrowing $50 at a rate of 4%, which is 0.04. Remember, 4 over 100. Change it to a decimal. If you need to review, remember to watch that video on my website. Okay, so, or on my my Canvas, 50% times 4%, or $50 times 4%. Woo. Okay. And then times how many years? 1 year. So we've got our principal, we've got our rate, and we've got our time. All right, and that will give us our interest. Go ahead and try that. So if you do this, you're going to owe $2. Now, let's think about this. I'm going to owe $2, but I borrowed $50. So what does that mean? That means that I have to take the $50 that I originally borrowed and add it to this interest, okay? Which means I'm going to pay at the end of the year $52. So let's think about the problem with the boy in the first question, okay? We've got Tim and his parents. Is Tim going to only owe his parents $5? Think about that again. He's going to owe his parents $100 plus an additional $5, because they're not just going to say, oh, give me $5 at the end of the year and you can keep that $100. Just like they're not going to say, oh, you can borrow that $50 from us, just give us $2. So it's a total of $52, okay? Let's look at another example. I want you to go ahead and try this one on your own. You're going to deposit $600 into a savings account, $600. So that's your principal. You're going to get 6% interest after 6 months. Be careful here. Time is always in years. After 6 months, what's going to be your balance? Okay, go ahead and try it. Pause the video, and I'll be back in just a second with the answer. Okay, so let's think about this. $600 times 6%, which would be $36, times 6 over 12, which is 1/2. Remember, we put it in years, so it's always over 12 months. So what would that be? That would give us $18. So they're going to put $18 in our bank account if we keep that $600 in there. But we want to know what the balance is, okay? Make sure that you are paying attention to the question. Our balance originally was $600. We made $18 in interest, so our total is going to be $618, okay? All right, let's try another one. Finding the interest rate. In an investment, you're depositing $500 into a 9-month CD. Change that to years, and you're going to earn 8% interest in 9 months. What's the balance? Go ahead, pause the video, try it for me, and I'll be back in just a second to show you the answer. If you were struggling to find a starting place, remember the equation is always I equals my P times my R times my T. Principal's 500. My rate is going to be a decimal, 8/100ths. And months is not acceptable, so we got to change it to years, so it's 9/12 or 3/4. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 500 times our 8/100ths and get $40. And then multiply it by 3/4. Just to recap on how to multiply, you can always do over 1. And you can simplify this by multiplying 40 times 3 and getting 120 divided by 4 and getting, if you divide, you get 30. Okay? Or you can just multiply. You can simplify within the problem. 10 and 1 and still get 30. So either way, we're going to get $30. We want to know what the balance is, the total balance, okay? Make sure that you remember that you originally deposited that $500. So your total is going to be $530. All right, one final question. Finding the amount of time. You're going to buy a car for $10,000. You have to borrow money at an interest rate of 5%. You borrow the money for 5 years. What will be your interest on the car, okay? So if we did this one, we are paying $10,000 for the car at a rate of 5% over 5 years. And that we don't have to change anything because it's already in years, and that will give us our I. So go ahead and multiply that out for me. Make sure that you are changing your percent to a decimal, and you would get $2,500. Okay, that's going to be your interest on the car. They don't ask you what the total car is going to cost. They just ask you the interest. So we're done. All right, and that's all I have for you today. Make sure that you make a note in your notebook that says only add together to find total or balance. Okay, so for example, with this one, we weren't finding the total, we were just finding the interest. If they just tell you to find the interest, you don't add. All right, see you next time.